effectively a lot of people had difficulties with the material because they felt that they were isolated or they didn't have someone to go to for their questions. And so our final commitment in this program is to provide you with continuous support. In our interactive sessions, you'll be given plenty of opportunity to ask questions. And of course, there will be a forum where you can engage with some of your other classmates as well. And so if we go into the next slide, which is why study with us. Now, in terms of this program, it is very unique. And I think if I was to summarize the key areas of this program and why you should join it, it's really about these 5 major areas. The first, which I think is the most important, is that the program is designed to help you maximize your time. And so for those of you that are doing your first CA module, or for those that have already completed a module, what you'll find is that our training program focuses on delivering key areas of content, but in a very time-efficient way, which will effectively help you free up your time for other activities. Now, if we just take the Phinn module as an example, in each of the units, there's more than 20 to 30 pages, and that's a lot of material. And of course, you're also given plenty of activities and worked examples. And so there's actually quite a strong abundance of material. But what you may not know is that not all of that information is going to be critical. In our training program, what we do is that we sift through the noise and we concentrate on the absolute key areas. And so rather than you having to go through 20 to 30 pages of content, you can listen to one of our interactive sessions and you can pretty much get the key areas out of that session. And our program, which I'll talk about in the next slide, shows you how we've structured the program so that it is absolutely going to be time efficient. Now, the second sort of benefit that you're going to get with the program is that we're here to provide you with long-run support and development. And so, yes, when you do attend the interactive session, we will provide you with a lot of instruction in terms of how to understand this content, how to understand that standard, etc. But our sessions are more than just pure instruction. We're actually here to show you how you develop your critical thinking, because it's going to be that critical thinking that becomes crucial to you when you undertake your final exam. And of course, there's not going to be an identical question. And so every question is going to be unique. And in our sessions, we help you develop your thinking by getting you to think about the key areas that you need to focus on, and also to refine your logic and also sharpen your tools and the framework in terms of how you approach questions. Now, if you think about a lot of these skills, yes, they will be quite beneficial to you when you do your studies, but these skills go much more beyond that, in the sense that these are going to be skills that you can take with you in your day-to-day jobs, and it's going to be crucial for your long-run career development. Our third benefit is that our program is designed to keep you disciplined and on track. Now, again, when we did our study in terms of why did candidates fail or perform poorly, a lot of these candidates said that they ran out of time, they weren't disciplined, they didn't have enough time management skills, and so they left everything towards the end, and it became very, very ugly. And so our program is designed so that we have weekly courses. This will help you stay disciplined and engaged so that you get the most out of your learning. The fourth component is all about interaction. As I said earlier, in our survey, a lot of candidates felt that they were by themselves. I mean, the CA program is largely a self-study type of program. So there are many of you that may feel isolated, not sure where you're meant to be focusing on, or lack the general direction in terms of where you need to go. And so these interactive sessions are designed so that we provide you with engagement. And this engagement also works both ways, in the sense that you will be given plenty of opportunities to ask our instructors questions, and we'll be engaging quite on an interactive basis, so that we get through the material in a way that is easy to understand, and that becomes more enjoyable. And the final point, which I think many of you who may not believe this, but we actually want this program and journey for yourselves to be fun. And so we try to do this through a range of ways, which is effectively using clear instruction. But as we go through the material, one of the key areas that we're going to focus on is that we're going to show you some practical examples in terms of how some of this content is applied to sort of real businesses with real case studies, and as we go through sort of current environments as well. And so we try to deliver all of this together so that for you that are undertaking the program, you don't view the program as some sort of liability or some sort of stress, but in fact you begin to enjoy it. And I think that becomes quite important when you think about maximizing results, especially for you out there, for those of you out there who might be wanting to achieve sort of higher results, and especially trying to get on the merit list. And so in terms of our program, if I switch over to the next slide, so this timetable here is an indicative timetable that we've put together to give you a sense of what you would expect when you join this program. Now, there's really two major sort of strategies and programs that we have. And the first of these is our interactive learning sessions. Now, you can see in front of you that for the Phinn module 2.0, there are effectively 17 units. And so, as I stated earlier, one of our key propositions is that we're going to help you pick up all of the key learning material in a very time-efficient way. And so we believe that around 9 hours of core content is going to be sufficient for you to be able to pass the exam. And on top of those 9 core hours, we've also added in 3 additional hours that will focus primarily on assignment support, which is going to be through the quizzes. And so this live interactive program has a total duration of 12 hours, and you will get a lot out of it, which is effectively an efficient way to tackle all of the key areas in the module, as well as provide you with plenty of support for those online quizzes. Now, the second program that we also have is what we call our exam preparation series. Now, this series here is designed to be dedicated specifically for the final exam. And so this program here is broken up into 2 major components, which is a part A and a part B. And so this is run over a 2-day period. And the focus here is to go through past exam questions and really enhance your understanding this really enhance your understanding, and to take some of the content that you have and apply it to exams. And so we, of course, will be going through a lot of practice exams and also past exams, but we also show you a lot about how you should think in terms of doing the exam. What is your approach? And we want you to get a feel for what the examiners want to focus on. And so we teach you a lot of skills to help you navigate through the final exam, especially when you see questions that become quite complex or quite intimidating. You'll find that after this series that they become quite easy and quite straightforward, but once you understand exactly the correct sort of technique in terms of how you handle these questions. And so these are the 2 major programs that we deliver. And then in terms of our package, and so our package A, which focuses primarily on the interactive, the weekly webinar sessions along with the quiz preparation. This program again has a total duration of 12 hours, and it has a very a competitive price, which is at $350. Our package B, which is on the exam preparation series, which is again, designed to help you prepare through final exams by going through and consolidating a lot of your understanding. This package here has a total duration of 8 hours. The price is $250, which again is very competitive, especially when you think about the value that we're providing. And then package C, which is purely an audio component, where students who might prefer to study at their own pace, we will nevertheless still cover off all of the key critical learning materials, but of course that interactive component will be absent, and of course this is priced at a lower level at around $250. And so what we're doing today is that we're offering you a special promotion where, on a bundled pricing perspective, if you include the package A along with package B, we have a special price of $560, but more importantly, we have an early bird discount here of 25% if you register before the 27th of June. Now, this program, again, is a very competitive priced program. Offers a lot of value for you, especially as you navigate through the materials. You will hear from live instructors that will help you take you through the key areas step by step, along with showing you the key learning areas, in addition to going through a range of problems. And so with that, that is our first agenda item. Now, more importantly, let's have a look at what you might expect for this particular module, Phinn 220. Now, Phinn 220 is largely on a more sort of, on the technical spectrum, it's a more technical module out of the 4 technical modules that's offered by the CA. Now, the subject matter for this particular module is primarily concentrated in accounting standards, where candidates clearly need to understand a vast array of accounting standards that do come from the IFRS framework, and to be able to apply these standards to a range of questions. Another component of the Phinn module is that it's going to be quite quantitative, meaning that you do need to be in a position where you can calculate solutions, right? You do need to apply some fairly basic mathematical techniques in order to solve problems. And so you do need to be in a mindset where if you don't like to calculate things, or you need to be in a framework where you become much more familiar and used to calculations. The third component is that the Phinn module is a very methodical unit, and that a logical process is needed in order for you to excel in this unit. What I mean by this is that as the module focuses on the application of accounting standards, these accounting standards by their very nature are fairly or originate from a stepwise fashion, meaning that you need to follow a set of steps. But as you reach some of the final units in the module, such as in consolidation, which is covered from units 15 to 17, candidates need to possess a fairly high degree of logic, because in order to do well in consolidation, you really need to think about the purpose behind why you are doing each of these steps, because it's a process of being able to eliminate duplicate transactions. And so having a very logical sort of mindset and thinking is really going to be quite important in those final areas. One of the key areas of the Phinn module is that content really does build together, which is why it's so important for you to be disciplined and to have a very strong sort of time management focus. Often what you'll find is that what you learned in example in Unit 2 that went through financial statements compared to what you learned in Unit 4, which is about income taxes, do come in handy when you reach the final modules, the final units of the modules, such as in consolidation. And so the materials are very much interrelated. so that the learning in one unit becomes important, not only in that unit, but also in subsequent units. Now, again, from a final exam perspective, and I've certainly have written a lot of final exams for this module, assessors really love to combine different units together. And so again, that's why we focus on the idea that content builds together. And in terms of looking at the unit, in terms of how you really perform strongly, is that practice is going to be very important, especially with regards to the ability to apply different standards across in different areas is going to be a challenge. And so you need to be in a position where you can confidently take the content and see how that is practiced through a range of worked examples, activities, and of course looking at past exam questions. And so with that, what I might do is then go into before we go into the Q&A, is that we very much would like to welcome you in for a taster session that we're going to run on the unit next Saturday. Now, this unit here, this taster is going to cover some selected topics from units 1 to 3 that I believe will be quite useful for you in your current studies. Now, by joining this taster, what you're going to be able to get out of it is that you'll be able to experience a live session. You'll also be able to observe our teaching style. And of course, you'll be given an avenue to ask any questions that you may have faced through units 1 to 3. So with that, that comes to the end of the formal materials. And I would like to extend an opportunity for you to ask any questions that you may have. So if you give me a minute while I have a look at the questions. Yep, so I'm going to just ask those that have raised their hands. I'm just going to unmute you so you can go ask your questions. So Alice Liu, please go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me properly?
Hi Alice, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks for the presentation. I think you've given a lot of content in that presentation, which is really good. You mentioned this program will offer us so we can maximize the use of time for our study. Can you specify a little bit how exactly you will best identify the most critical area? So we can, can you elaborate a little bit more on that one?
Yeah, definitely. Look, and I think that's an excellent question. And so in terms of this program, I mean, my own background is that I have a very extensive history with working with the Institute. And so I do understand each of the 5 modules very well. And so what we mean by being able to maximize your time is that I know that many candidates who currently are enrolled in the program, they have full-time work, they have family commitments, they have social commitments, etc., etc. And so one of the main reasons why people will fail or don't perform what they expect is because they really don't have the time to be able to go through the materials. Now, if we think about the materials that each candidate is given, I mean, you are given quite a lot of materials, right? I mean, you've got the CSG, you've got the worked examples, you've got activities. But what we want to do here is that definitely from an examiner's perspective, we know that each program that you do undertake in the CA program is designed so that you get these learning outcomes. They're meant to demonstrate a level of competency across different areas of study. And so in our program, what we do is that we have taken what those key competencies are, and then we've summarized it in a learning platform so that you can effectively get a download of the absolute core materials that you will need to take with you when you do the exam, and of course when you apply some of these standards in your day-to-day work. And so that is how we structure our learning and how we focus on these key learning areas. I'm going to open it up for Brenda. Yeah, you can go and ask your question.
All right, thanks. Thanks for sharing. Just wondering if you could show us some of the features of just a sample of the learning modules, how it will look like. Because I did check the website before. Is there any way you can show us the sample of how it's going to work?
Yes, so in terms of an example, on the website, there are some recordings that are there. And of course, we talk about, I think the recordings are for the tax module, but what I would say is that if you join us next week on the 20th of June, we'll be in a position to bring you a taster session where you can experience firsthand how we teach materials. And so the focus for that taster session is going to be units 1 to 3, and I'll be picking out some of the select areas in those units that I think will be useful for you. So it's 30 minutes, which is not a huge time commitment, and you'll be able to see how I explain some of the key learning areas in that. In terms of our interactive sessions, they're designed so that you'll see myself. I'll be running most of these sessions, and then again you'll see me speak, and of course you'll see a sort of slide deck presentation as well on the screen so that you can follow. And so that's how we're going to deliver these sessions.
Cool. Yep, we'll come next week. Thanks.
All right, thank you. The next question, if I can ask Lachlan, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, hi. I noticed there was 3 options for the bundles that you mentioned for your program. Just confirming that all 3 of those, would there be recordings of those to refer back to in terms of no matter which one you choose?
Yes, and so when you subscribe on our website, you'll be given access to all of the recordings. And so the main difference between the package A, which is the interactive session, and package C, which is just the audio session, is that in package A, you'll be given an opportunity to engage with myself if you have any areas that you're not sure about, and as well as you sort of study, or any areas that we can help you clarify a lot of information as well. And so that interactive session is really designed so that it focuses on two-way engagement, whereas an audio series is still largely going to be one-way.
Okay, thanks. And next week's free, that tasting session, that's free?
Yes, that's right. So the taster session is going to be free. We want to run this so that you get a feel for how we teach the materials, and you can see our learning style. You'll be able to also ask any questions that you do have in terms of the materials as well.
Okay, thanks for
that. The next question is from Mahudra. If you would like to ask your question, please go ahead. Mahura, are you there? Do you have a question?
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi. Yeah, thanks for the presentation. And I wanted to ask you, since I'm new, that I'm going to enroll in the modules, how these sessions are different from the master class, because you're related to the institute for many years. So how these sessions which you told and the masterclass session, how they are related or how they are different in the understanding, or did you get my question?
Yes, and so in terms of our program at Bingo Training, how we're different from the masterclass. So the first difference is that our program is priced at a much more effective and a competitive level compared to the masterclass. And also what we do in our program is that we focus on being able to enhance your critical thinking. And so there will be some areas where, for example, we're going to teach you materials where there's going to be a similar element to what the masterclass would be doing. But we focus quite a lot of our time in terms of how you take that content and how you apply it to questions. And when we think about what that process involves, it's all about making sure that we can get you to be in a position where you can think about what the examiner is wanting to achieve. And so that comes down to, one, being able to understand the materials very well. But number two is to think about the purpose behind these questions and what they're designed to achieve. And so our program here is going to be much more effective than the masterclass. And we run a lot more sort of weekly sessions. It's going to be a much more disciplined program. And of course, we'll be in a position to offer you a lot of interaction and engagement. So the next question comes from Binod. If I've just unmuted you, you can go and ask your question.
Hi, Ben. Thanks for the presentation. Just a quick question regarding the bundle you have mentioned that we have the early bird discounts. Does that mean that bundle includes everything like webinar session, exam preparation, and all of the audio files?
Yes. So the bundle session that we have designed here is that it includes the 12-hour interactive webinar series. And so in addition to our exam preparation series. And so you get a combination of 20 hours of materials and live support. And our promotion here is that if you do subscribe before the 27th of June, that we'll be offering you a 25% discount. And of course, we do have limited spots in this promotion. And so again, it's priced very effectively. We do believe that CA is all about making sure that you spend the least amount of time, but being able to nail the most important areas, as well as helping you enhance your experience and interactivity as well. And so we do believe that this program is going to be very beneficial for you, especially if you think about the current environment. I mean, I know a lot of people are working from home, they're working remotely, they don't have as much engagement. And so the ability to be able to stand out in this environment becomes very strong. I mean, for those that have been impacted by the coronavirus, the CA is definitely going to be another selling point when you do reach for your next career opportunity. So definitely, we are of the view that that our program is going to be in a very strong position to help you achieve both your CA goals and also your career goals as well.
Thank you, Ben.
No worries. So look, with that, we are running up against time. So what I'll do is that I'm going to bring this session to an end. Again, if you did find value out of this, you are more than welcome to subscribe to our next taster session, which will be next Saturday. And of course, any other questions that you may have, definitely please save them. You can also reach out by email if there's any burning desire, and we'll be able to help answer you straight away. So with that, I hope everyone keeps safe, And for those that are going to subscribe, I look forward to seeing you next week. So have a good evening and keep safe. See you, everybody.
Thanks.